All right. Well, welcome everybody to Namaste Village, Namaste Zoom Room, Namaste YouTube. We're going to start. I think James is here, so let's turn it over to him.
Thank you, Scott. And good morning to all of you. So wonderful to see you. I'm still here, as you can see, at the Shivananda Yoga Ashram in the Bahamas. And this has been a wonderful retreat for me to just hold still for a moment and to reflect on all the lessons we share here every morning at Namaste Village, entering into what we like to call the Namaste experience. And what is that experience? It is a simple knowing of who I really am, a simple acknowledgement of the love within me that is forever loving and changeless and whole and complete. And that experience only comes when our resolute decision for love matches love's resolute decision about us. So this is what we're going to talk a little bit about today. I'm going to share for a little bit, then I'll turn it over to Vicky, and we'll see where this beautiful discussion takes us. But before that, let's go ahead and we will share our morning prayer for the awakened. So let me go ahead and bring that up on the screen, make it full screen, and I'll invite you to join me, as always, with energy and enthusiasm. When you say these words, really deeply feel them as much as you can, because this is the essence of what we call being awake. So here we go. My soul has but one goal: to awaken to the truth that is forever true. Take a deep breath and just breathe that in. The truth that is forever true, my one goal. My heart has but one desire: to remember the passion of infinite bliss. Take another deep breath. That one desire, the passion for infinite bliss. My mind has but one focus: to embrace the reality that is forever real. Take a deep breath. One focus: the reality that is forever real. I choose to awaken now to the infinite love that is my source. I give everything to this love, just as it has given everything to me. I am awake now. So go ahead and unmute yourselves, because I have two very important questions to ask you. And as you answer these questions, so it will be. So we claim this now. So here are the questions. How is everyone today?
Awake,
Awake and ready.
ready, and ready.
How feels everyone today?
Awake
Awake and
and
ready.
ready.
Indeed. Oh, I love doing that every morning. It's so fun to hear the proclamation of this simple reality, the simple truth that I'm awake, I'm ready, I'm resolute, I'm uncompromising. In fact, those two words, resolute and uncompromising, they're the words that we're going to focus on today. But really, these are the experiences that we focus on every day here at Namaste Village. To be resolute, to be uncompromising as God is with us. So I want to read something that I actually found on my phone today. I think it's something that I wrote quite some time ago, and it just felt so resonant to where we are today. So let me go ahead and share this on the screen. All right, here we go. So this is called a resolute search for God. Is also, it's the same as a resolute search for self, for the truth of who I am. They're one and the same. So here we go. When embarking upon a resolute search for God, I find my true self. When embarking upon a resolute, it must be resolute, search for God, I find my true self. How can that be true unless they are the same? Unless my resolute search for God and my finding of myself in that resolute search are the exact same thing. Here we go. But my search must be resolute. It must be uncompromising. Otherwise, there will be space between myself and my discovery. And God cannot exist in emptiness. There seems to be an empty space when I hold back, right? If I hold back thinking I can't give everything, if I hold back thinking there won't be anything of me left, then what happens is there is a space between me and God, or me and my discovery of myself. And the experience of all that is, all reality, which is what God is, the allness of reality cannot exist in such an empty space. Therefore, I cannot exist in such an empty space. Do you see that? Once again, a resolute search for God is the same as finding my true self, finding who I really am. So therefore, let your mind be unified around a single resolution. I find myself only in God. I find myself only in God because they are forever the same. Another way to say this is that I will only find myself in love, since God and love are the same. I like that. I will find myself with a capital S only in love itself, because love itself is the only thing that truly exists. Anything that appears to exist outside of that love is really my decision to no longer be compromising, or uncompromising rather, with the reality of love. And therefore, I forget who I am. I mistake who I am. I lose touch with the reality that is forever real within me. And the return of that is simply the resolute decision. The uncompromising decision is that there's only one reason I'm here. There's only one thing that I'm here to accomplish. There's nothing else that I need to do. There's nothing else I need to experience or find. Only the love that is forever loving. And this is why we come together here every day, just to be lifted in that, to be reminded about that. And as we are lifted, we find ourselves, that which God never lost, the reality that God never mistook. We seem to have wandered off for a moment, but there has always been kind of a rope tied to us. You know how it's like a leash. You know, have you ever seen when people sometimes put a leash on their kid, kind of like they would a dog, so they don't go too far? It's the same thing with us. God never lets us get too far away, because we can always be pulled back. And what is it that pulls us back? That longing, that yearning for the divine or for the self that we always feel. This is why you all show up here at Namaste Village. Those of you who live here, those of you who show up in our morning sessions, that's why people come from all over the world to this beautiful Shivananda ashram, because they feel that tug, that yearning for the divine, that, of course, which is what the exact same thing as the divine yearning and longing for us, for you, for the reality of you. So we can never get too far away. That desire, that longing that you feel within is really God's longing for you. Isn't that good to know? That the beloved, the divine, whatever you want to call that divine, holy, whole presence longs for you to return. just as you feel that longing to return within yourself. So it's that longing, it's that resolute decision, that uncompromising, unwavering focus, which leads us to the experience that I never truly left my home, except in my imagination. And so, with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to our dear sister, Vicky, and she can take you home. Vicky didn't have any idea what I was going to talk about today, which I know she kind of likes because it just sparks from the inside rather than sparking from the outside. And that divine spark is something that we all know our dear sister always carries with her. So Vicky, take it away, and I'll see everyone again tomorrow morning.
Okay, Brother James, go have a wonderful breakfast. Give that jolly Swami a hug from all of us.
Well, that's right. I had a picture taken of him yesterday and I forgot to show it to everybody. So
Yes,
I'll see if I can get it up tomorrow.
It's a great picture. He's a jolly old elf. It makes sense, right?
Indeed.
Thank
I love
you.
you guys. Have a beautiful
We love
session.
you. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. And let me see. Hi, everybody. And I want to welcome Baraka is in the room. Calico is in the room. Some faces and voices we haven't talked to or seen for a moment. So want to wish everyone welcome and love. And especially thank you for Baraka for tuning in and joining us. Once you're part of a family, it never leaves you. I'm in Boston area at my sister's with my dearest family member, Uncle Ernie, who they thought would pass yesterday, and still we're on the vigil, and it's quite a beautiful vigil because whether he regains strength, there's a party here, or if he lets go and it's time to let the body go, it's a party in the invisible world. So there's no bad outcome for any of us ever. There's no bad outcome. And that's one of the centering factors in having a single goal. Let no apparent failure hold you back. Let no seeming disaster change your goal. Oh, love didn't work. Oh, I can see love didn't work here. God's not really here. I'm here all alone. When the single resolute idea is something really simple, something like, I am as God created me. That's it. Or God created me as love. Today's workbook lesson, if you're looking at those, there is nothing our holiness cannot do. Our holiness, which is love, is the answer to everything, not to some things, to everything. And the only thing that would be lacking would be our applying it to everything. When we apply it to everything, it may not be the form we think should happen, but by hook or by crook, we come through an experience of greater presence and greater love. I remember a time I was building the Boston restaurant. We had a big restaurant in downtown Boston. And I got this loan from the Small Business Association. And I was young in my 20s, and I hired this, I thought, wonderful contractor. But apparently the contractor also was a wonderful gambler. Anyway, foolishly in those days, I paid him for work he was about to do, but hadn't quite done yet. So he didn't show up, and I had spent all the money, and I'm there, oh my gosh, now what am I going to do? So, but I had that in my mind that Jesus said to me, build a church that looks like a restaurant and I'll do the rest. So I said, okay, this is time for you to do the rest, because I blew it. So I remember that day I got down on my hands and knees. I had tiles for the floor, and I started to lay the floor myself. No contractor, okay, means I do it. And don't you know, this band of sailors had docked in Boston Harbor, and there were about a dozen of them. And I went out and I said, hi, you guys, do you want to work for the day? And about 12 of them came in, and they laid the floor with me, and they had a party, and I had a party, and they didn't want any money. They just wanted to be helpful. That's how surprising God's will is when we're resolute. Because I've seen many who are in any project, it could be a business project or a marriage, or it could be any situation, and failure strikes, and they say, oh, not meant to be, I'm leaving. I guess I wasn't supposed to do a restaurant. I suppose this marriage wasn't really a good marriage. I'll just let it go. Oh, no, no, no. The outcome is not what we hold on to. The purpose is what we hold on to. If love is our purpose and God directs us in a certain area, in a certain situation, in any relationship, that's what we hold to. We give love to it. We give love by our acceptance. We give love by our vision. We give love very often by our steadfastness, not to abandon ship. We don't jump ship just because there's a ripple in the water. We stay on that ship until Jesus gets up and calms the waters, because he will. He will. Whatever form the outcome is, I always figured it wasn't my business. Whatever, if I got a vision to build a church that looks like a restaurant, I really don't know what that looks like. I just know a church is where we come together in the presence of God and that we are his children. That's enough. And then the form will take care of itself. So that brings us always back to today. Only God, he starts only love, only God, only now. If we apply that, that's applying our holiness to every situation. Here I am with my dear Ernie. I mean, Ernie's been a hot ticket all his life, a pistol. He's just been full of vim and vigor. He was born very weak. He was the weakling in the family, and here he is, 89, almost 90. He outlived everybody. And it wouldn't surprise me if he turned around and got up and started to walk later today. I don't know, but that's not my business. My business is see the light in him. That's all we are called to ever do. I listen for love, and love said, go sit beside him. Okay, I can sit beside him. So I sit beside him. And really, like I said yesterday, in the spirit of celebration of God's love is perfect. God's love is abundant. God's love is busting out all over. And that's all I want to do. I don't want to have some spirit of remorse or some spirit of deep sadness. There's no deep sadness. There's great appreciation for a full life given and lived, and that I was part of my whole life. He's older than I am, so I've known him my whole life. And the joy of that. And then he loved Elvis Presley. So I said to him, so Ernie, either we're going to play Elvis, and we did all day yesterday when I got here. We'll play Elvis music on the radio. We're either going to play Elvis music and we'll listen together, or if you put this body down, I bet Elvis is right at the gate, right alongside Jesus and your mother and your father and all of them. Jesus will meet you at that gate. He has probably one of the finest, rarest Elvis collections in the world. His whole house is an Elvis collection. But what did he see in Elvis? He saw the passion of love. He saw the passion of God. That's where he focused it on. He saw it in Elvis Presley. We see it, hopefully we're seeing it everywhere. But he saw it there. And yesterday and today, I love celebrating that with him. And he's not quite, verbal right now, but I could sense the going with that, the peace with that. And that's all it is for all of us. Start where we sense God. Start there. If you look at Unity's daily word today, it's about wisdom. The wisdom is nothing but the voice for God in our hearts. The wisdom is the voice for love. Learn to listen to the wisdom. That's all. And only to that. What's uncompromising? When we only listen to that. When we only listen to it and we keep it in the present right now. Don't worry about the outcome in an hour from now. It's always just right now. And we're learning to do that together. The power of our joint purpose. When Jesus said, when two or more are gathered, there I am. When two or more recognize they are not alone, that in their union, they remember their holiness. That's what two or more are gathered. And we are the more that are gathered. What a party. Every morning, we're remembering God did create us. He created us as love. We come to remember that, apply it to everything. All of the pain, all of the upsets, all of the political stuff, everything that's going on. And we are the presence of that love wherever we are. That's all it is. Wherever we are the presence of that love. And no matter the form it takes, there's no seeming failure or disaster that can take us away from the purpose of being love now. It's just about realizing that appearances do not have to look a particular way. We don't know. The gift is knowing that I don't know. So there's no burden on me except to be responsible, to be love right now. And that's a sufficiency. That's a sufficiency of grace in the moment that propels, and it opens us up to hear better. Then we can hear that wisdom in each other as well as within ourselves. And then we start hearing it and seeing it everywhere. Like that day of silence yesterday, pay attention to the invisible world everywhere. It's singing a song of welcome home. Thank you for recognizing us. Thank you for paying attention. When we pay attention to spirit, we're not paying attention to appearances. It's really that simple. When we're paying attention to appearances, we're likely putting spirit on the back burner. It's not a bad thing. It's just inefficient. It's a very inefficient way to be here in time. We might as well be here in time with ease and joy and grace, rather than to be here in time by the sweat of our brow and a lot of figuring and efforting. Well, I found one thing I wanted to read to you. This is from one of my new favorite books I've told you about, The Way of the Heart by Sebastian Blakesley. This is a transmission from Jesus through Sebastian, really about the second coming. And everything is dedicated. This isn't a teaching so much as a proclamation of who we are. And we're bringing into consciousness collectively. Lois, I see you got a pen and pencil. It's The Way of the Heart, Sebastian Blakesley. So together we're bringing this consciousness into our direct experience, and then by grace, letting it expand throughout the sonship, because we are all one. And what any one of us is resolute in, all of us become part of the effect of it. That's how we join together. So this is what he's saying. Beloved of all time and place, you are called now and forever to allow what you have learned, your own interpretation, your own ways of reasoning, to stop governing your lives. Stop, he said. The ego has been masterful at reasoning. And in the Course, Jesus says, the ego can appear to be consistent, but not necessarily valid. So we have been duped by all our reasoning to think, oh, our judgments have value and we better depend on them. No, let them go. There's no demonizing anything. It's just, it's not helpful anymore. What is helpful is love. And he says, instead, here's the answer, allow the wisdom of Christ. The wisdom, that's today's unity word for the day. The wisdom, the voice for love, the voice for God, the voice for spirit. Allow the wisdom of Christ, which dwells in each of you, to be the source of your knowledge and your action. Simple as that. That's another simple statement. If we make a resolute commitment, it's not that processes and forgiveness and all the things we've learned and come through to get here aren't valuable. They've been fully valuable. And for many, they continue to be fully valuable. But there comes a time when we make a decision that it isn't by our thinking and our reasoning and our understanding, but by our knowing in the wisdom of our hearts that love really is the core source and the beingness of what we are. That's the radical decision. That's the radical commitment right there. It's uncompromising, because love is without opposite. Love doesn't have an opposite. Fear is not the opposite of love. It's just the lack of the awareness of love. There's no opposite to love. If we can be uncompromising to what already is uncompromising, then we're naturally receptive to let it guide us, direct us, and fill us in the present moment. Even if in the present moment we're miserable, so be miserable. be totally miserable, totally go with it, totally accept it. And here I am, Lord, just as I am. It's a come as you are party, everybody. We come as we are to the present moment. We come as we are to the spirit of God's love in us, as us, and say, here I am. I'm miserable. I'm horrible. I'm pitiful. I'm whatever I think I am, but I'm putting it down and I'm being present because I know that love is, and I'm part of that. And I trust that. I know it. That's what's uncompromising. That's what's irresolute. It's resolute. That's what happened that day when I had no money left and the 12 sailors showed up. It's like, okay, no matter what, this is one of those, no matter what love is, I am. We are one. That's it. I'll commit to that. That's all we're committing to. But we have to, if we don't commit to it, we're not welcoming it in. When we don't open to love, we are resisting love. And remember, God never goes against our will. If we use our will to resist love, that's our choice. When we choose to welcome love, that choice joins the choice of already what is real, what God is. That choice is, Father, thy will be done. That choice says, yes, I agree. I'm holy. I don't feel that way right now, maybe, but you know better than me. So here I am. This is an abandonment to love. Abandonment to love that's more powerful than all of the appearances of decay and death and sickness and sadness. Let those appearances come. I won't resist them. I won't turn away from them. I am willing to look through them all. I don't need to go excavating, but I do need to stay present to that voice of wisdom in me. That's enough. All of us, we call it intuition. We call it a sense of spirit. It doesn't matter what we call it. We understand that the voice of love is present. And if we want to hear it, it's our choice to hear it, we can. And if we don't in the moment, we wait a minute, but we wait with willingness to open to love. That's why Jesus uses willingness so much in the Course. If we're going to bring everything down to right now, then we're in a difficult situation. We need the willingness to allow it to be what it is until it falls away. And even if it doesn't fall away, with our heart and our mind, we choose love. We choose a simple thought. I am as God created me. There's no opposite to that. That's a resolute choice that all of us can make in good times and in what seems like bad times. I want to look at the clock, so I make sure I give Scott a moment. Oh, I see I'm going over. Scott, please go ahead. Do you have any words or song? Anything you'd like? I didn't have a clock here. And thank you, everybody. I love you guys.
Yes, it's really true. No matter what we say or do, there's a light that calls us home like a song. And there is no fear that won't disappear, like the light that shines at peace in the dawn. We are the presence of love. We are the presence of love. You and I are the presence So we say Amen, Amen, Amen.
People.
Oh yeah,
The black box. The black
the black
next
box.
to the pause.
I see it now.